Are we live? Are we here? Hey, all right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing? Huh? How we doing today? So, we're one day away from opening day or a hurricane. Maybe not opening day. I don't know. No, you all tell me. I'm watching the weather, and I kind of get why they canceled um the ring ceremony. I guess. I don't know. Um but then I see where the storm's gonna be. I'm like, well, none of it makes any sense to cancel anything. But then again, if it takes a turn and the Bruins are still like are they gonna fly out Tuesday night after the game? So hey, Metal Coaster, how you doing, bud? So I don't know. You guys tell me. I've been checking Twitter all day, thinking, wondering if they were gonna, cancel the game because obviously I got things I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I was just wondering if I was gonna get a 2-day reprieve, right? Because we would have to open up on the road, and then I guess there would have to be a date further on down where we'd have our home opener. So doesn't look like they're gonna cancel the game, but I didn't think they would cancel the ring ceremony either. Metal says just in case some outer bands hit them earlier than they thought. Well, yeah. I mean, I like I said, I kind of understand it, but then, um, what about the game, right? It's like if we're worried about the ring ceremony on Monday, what about Tuesday? What do we? So, hey, I'm not in charge. That's okay. I want them to play the game. I want them to play the game. Obviously, I think we're all ready. But of course, um, as far as I know, the game is still on, right? Unless and until we start getting a bunch of that, that the mob mentality where they come after you. Unless that starts to happen, where they start talking about, oh, the Panthers they don't care. They're going to make people drive to the game at 50-mile-an-hour winds. I don't know. I don't know, man. So we'll see. I hope it goes on, but at the same time, it don't look like it's gonna be pretty. My parents and my daughter live on the Space Coast, so it's supposed to cross right over them. Of course, it will have already hit on the West Coast, so it will be a little bit weaker by the time it hits them and everything. Where they were putting in their shutters and everything like that. Oh yeah, the Swayman thing. Eyes wants to know if Swayman's going to be a net. Am I surprised he signed? I had doubt he'd be a net because he hasn't been to camp at all, so he can't be ready for Tuesday. And that would kind of be an insult to Corpusalo for him to have filled in all this time and then to have opening day yanked from him. In terms of, am I surprised he signed? I mean, something stinks. Like something stinks, right? Like obviously when the Bruins management said 64 million reasons and the agent said, "Oh, we haven't had that offer," there was obviously bullshit because he signed for 64 million plus $250,000 a year extra. So he got the extra 2 million. So it sounds more like they were asking for 10 and the Bruins were saying 8, and the Bruins finally said, "Look, we'll make it 8.25. Just shut the hell up and come to camp." And eventually calmer heads prevailed, right? Hey, Mr. Vince, how you doing, bud? Yeah, exactly, Metal. He now has 66 million. All I know is that if somebody offers me 64 million to do just about anything, I'm gonna take it. Hey, thank you, Zach. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Zach. He says, here's another fight towards the belt. I'm serious, Chad. If anyone deserves a championship belt, it's Jaws. I appreciate that, Zach. Kyle and I finished up we finished the combining of the graves for the dogs yesterday. So I'm pretty worn out today. It was a lot of digging and moving soil, and we didn't dig up the dogs. The dogs were always in their grave right next to each other, 1, 2, 3. But the pictures and all of that, it's going to be part of it's going to be part of the opening day intro. So that's where you guys can see that. I says they threatened to send them to Utah. I mean, it's like anything else. There's 3 sides to every story, right? Vincent says this drama happens all the time. The end result is always the same. Nothing new. Who's surprised? That's a good point. When's the last time a guy held out like that and then got traded? Right? When was the last time a guy held out like that and then actually was moved in the NHL? I had to think about that. Hey, Jameson, yeah, that was the action shot of us with the dog. Yeah, because I was down, I'm editing some stuff up, and I found it, and it's actually the moment where I clicked record. So it was like that's the thumbnail on my Google Drive, because that was like the exact moment I pressed record. They're all, half of them are over, they're not even on the ground anymore. Mr. says, doing well, man. I won the championship for my karting league yesterday. Nice. I says, Chucky was traded. No, I don't think he held out. I don't even know if they had offered him a contract or anything like that, right? Zach wants to know, how am I feeling about the Boquist heading into the season? Do you think Jesper cracks the top 9 and Adam the top 4? I believe that's where we're at. I believe it's going to be Forsling, Ekblad, Mikula, Boquist, Balinskis, Kulikov for the start, with Schmidt as 70. And then they may rotate Schmidt and Balinskis there a little bit. But I think Boquist is got himself in the top 4. In terms of Jesper, I think if anybody gets injured in the top 9, he would be the guy that would slide up. But for now, Samoskevich has that spot next to Lundell, and I suspect that they are going to leave him there unless he just simply craters and can't handle it, which I don't think is going to happen. And right now, it looks like Giles is going to open up. Well, we have to see. You never know. I mean, I think he's going to open up in the 4th line, but I think Jesper Boquist is going to center that 4th line right now with Nosek out. I believe that's the way that they're going to go with it for now. So, but yeah, in terms of Adam on defense, I think he's in the top 4. Hey, Daniel, how you doing, bud? Vincent wants to know if I watched the Quebec game. No, because when I looked at it on my phone and the TV and streaming option said none. So I just put it out. I put it out of sight, out of mind. I didn't even, it said it wasn't going to be on TV. It said no TV, no streaming. So I said, okay, I guess we can't watch that. And then I guess other people saw it. So I don't know, was it on the Panthers Plus or what? Meadow says, should we end up losing Ekblad after this season? Would I give a second? Who would I give the second assistant captain to? Oh, that's a good point. Probably Reinhart. I think Reinhart, right? Oh, as you watched it on an illegal, I got you. It was the LA announcers. Interesting. Well, somebody must have been streaming it for the illegal feed to pick up the stream, though. So, and I know Nick True watched it too. So I don't know where it was, but I didn't see it because I thought it wasn't on. Yeah, in terms of we lost Ekblad, that second assistant captain, I would think. Well, then again, no, maybe Forsling, because maybe you want to have a defenseman. Maybe you want to have a defenseman. So then maybe Forsling, right? I think that would probably make sense if we lost Ekblad. Yeah, because you'd want to have one of the assistant captains be a defenseman. Zach says, since NHL 23, the Boquist are consistent pickups in your franchise runs. They'll almost always sign 8-year deals for 1.25, 2.25 mil, and usually progress wonderfully. Gotcha. Vincent says the game, if I want to see that. I'm not sure if Talk to Text got you on there. I'm not sure what you're saying. Oh, it was Giola. I see. Okay, the Panthers feed was region locked. Okay, gotcha. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know why they're doing anything that they're doing. Oh yeah, Meadow wants to. How about them Dolphins? Oh boy, I will say this, Meadow. The last 2 weeks, most of the game, Kyle and I have been sitting there looking at each other like, thank God we're not streaming this. That's all I can say. It is some of the worst, most god-awful football. And I've seen a lot of bad football. It's just bad. It's not even entertaining to the point where we're getting blown out. Like the 1-15 team was pretty damn bad. But this team is just it's they won a game. They won a game. Mr. Vic says, let's not talk about yesterday as a Pats fan. You guys are just as bad as we are. Vincent, see, I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. Wait, that's a joke though, right? That's a joke. I said, yeah, thank God ESPN has the regular season games. Yeah, I mean, it's as far as I know, it's just going to be, I guess it's the home team feed. So, but we can't, we don't have the volume up that loud anyway because we were streaming the game. Bolar says, well, this is a rough morning. Woke up to clean the house because my mom's friend is coming. Just started my 2-hour walk and I dropped my $2 energy drink and it spilled mod. Jeez. Jeez. Those things are expensive now, Bolvar. The other day, Saturday morning, I was not feeling good. I woke up feeling like crap Saturday. And Colin and I had, had to go get the flowers and do yard work. So at the grocery store, I was going to get a Monster. It's like $4. I'm like, it used to be 2 for $3. Then it was 2 for $2. And now they're like $3.99 a piece. I'm like, I'm not paying $4 for a Monster. There's no way the ingredients in that can doubled in value in the last 4 years. It's just stupid. Hey, the one, how you doing? I said you just mute the feed and use the fluffy audio. Yeah, Kyle is ready to go. Kyle is ready to go. Zach says, Joseph, is all a possibility. I'd love to give you a pair of tickets for you and Kyle to go to the game in December. I'll keep you posted. Brother, I hope that I appreciate that. I hope we're able to get down there. Somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's what I'm hoping for. But I was also hoping to be 6'2". That didn't happen. I was hoping to sing like Daryl Hall. No, that ain't showing up yet either. So it is what it is, right? Yeah. Hey, Adonis, how you doing? Yeah, that was your tall boy monster. Yeah, sorry, man. That sucks. That sucks. Bolvar says my local grocery store has a 2 for $5 special year round. It's great for like Bolvar. I haven't had a Monster in probably a year. The last time that I bought one, 2 for $5. It was just like permanently 2 for $5. And then, like I said, I went the other day and it's like $3.99. And just out of principle alone, I'm not doing it. Hey, Colby, how you doing, bud? Yeah, one more sleep until hockey. Yeah. Boy, the chat's going fast now. Appreciate that. The one wants to know, who do I have as our points leader this season? You're going with Sam Reinhart. That's tough. Reinhardt's more of a balanced player, but I'm having a hard time thinking that I would want to root or vote against Verhage because he's in a contract season. I think he could pull what Reinhardt did last year and have 50, 60 goals. And even if he only gets 30 assists. But what I would really like to see is Barkov finally crack the 100 points. I would like to see Barkov do that. Let's get him to crack 40 goals and 100 points. But watch out for Verhage. We're going to know early on if he's playing for a contract or not. That's for sure. Bulver says, I mean, you were hoping for a Panthers and Dolphins to win the Cup and Super Bowl. At least they got one of them. That's true. That is very, very true. Yes. Yeah. Zach said, yeah, the hurricane is coming. Oh, hey, Trey, it's the star of the show is here. Trey is here to start. So, all right, Trey's going to take over the live stream now. Trey, we'll have to find an excuse to get you on the hockey show. We'll have to find an excuse to use your caricature and get you yeah. Talk to me later. Trey says, well, hold on now. I'm not the star. We know who that is. No, we'll make you a star, man. Ban Trey, right? Colby says there's no excuse for the Panthers not to win a second cup. Clarify that and mean in a row, right? Trey says we did a hockey show once. No, it did. It did. You know how it is with me. My life has been so chaotic. I don't like to commit to things that I'm not going to be able to be consistent on. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, hey, Penty. Trey says, wasn't brought back because I said the Leafs hadn't won a cup since. Oh my God, I'm dead. That's it. I'm canceled. That's it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm glad you guys are laughing too, so I don't get canceled for laughing. Yeah, and now that the channel is demonetized. Oh my God. That's funny. Benty wants to know what do you think how much Lundell would do in points this season? What would be enough, I think? I think he's going to have a good season. I've been saying that, so I'm not just saying that to answer your question. He looks faster. I think he's playing with a lot more confidence. And I think now, especially that he's got Sam Miskevich on that line, I think he's going to be viewing things more like he's the veteran, right? Where Sam Miskevich will be asking him questions versus Lundell being the young guy asking the questions. I'd like to see him crack the 20 goals, maybe 55 points, 20 goals, 35 assists. He's going to play a lot on the PK. So that's going to take some minutes. So I don't think they're going to give him a lot more minutes in terms of on the third line, that line out there. I still think it'll be like 12, 13 minutes a night. I think that's what they were normally playing him. Maybe he'll get up to 14 or 15, but he's going to do a lot of PK. I'd like to see him crack 50 points. Hit that 20 goal mark, something like that. I says delete the live stream after it's done. Mr. Izzo, don't worry, they'll find this clip years from now and try to cancel you. Man, they've already done tried to cancel me. They already done did it long before the channel got monetized and all of that. They already tried to Pente. Much appreciated, bud. Much appreciated. Because I got on the subject of new content and I got on the subject. So, you wouldn't know it by looking at the rest of my room right now. However, either tomorrow or Wednesday, the day after the game, there's a new series that's going to be part of this channel pretty much on a daily basis. That's all I'll say. Is that all I'm going to say? Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Let's just say that for those of you who were around at the beginning of the channel when things were a little bit more fun, when things were a little bit more fun. I'm not going back. I'm not going to have like crazy Bill every day. That's not what I mean. But I got something coming that I think you guys will enjoy. It kind of will be Bill Zito will be involved. Bill Zito will be involved, right? So we'll put it that way. But it will involve more than the Panthers, because if I'm going to do that kind of content, it needs to be more than just the Panthers, because that just kind of limits the viewership to a point where it just limits the algorithm, and then the algorithm just says only these people watch his videos and that's it. So I says cancel Jaws is trending on Twitter already. Oh Jesus Christ, Coley wants to dressing up as Tim Walz me. No, we definitely staying away from the politics. We definitely staying away from the politics. Although I probably would make a mean Kamala, but we're gonna leave it at we're just gonna not. People just can't they just can't joke anymore about any of the things, right? If you crack a joke about this person, it must mean you're in bed with this one, and I just don't need the grief and the aggravation, because I ain't in bed with nobody, quite literally. What did Trey say now? Yeah, I must have started that campaign, right? So Mr. Viz wants to know, legit, how would I feel if we pull in Islanders and win 4 in a row? Jesus. The thing about winning 4 in a row, you're talking about winning 3 with one goalie and then winning a 4th with another goalie. I assume Spencer Knight, right? Or does Bob just keep extending each time we win, right? Like, do we win 3 in a row with Bob and he says, I come back for one more, right? And then we win again. He says, okay, I'm done, because obviously we're just going to keep winning. I mean, I'd be interested to see that. Jackson wants to know if Chucky's going to get to 100 points this year. I think Chucky's going to have a lot of assists. I think Chucky could have 100 assists because he's playing with 2 guys. If that's the way that they are going to roll the lines, depending on where they're going to be putting Rodriguez and everything like that. But if he ends up with Bennett and Verhaeghe, he would be playing with 2 guys that are on contract seasons. So, but no, it's probably not. It's probably going to be Bennett, Kachuk, Rodriguez. What were they running? What did they run the other night? Because I know with Reinhart and Rodriguez, they just kind of roll them all over the place, and there are no. It's not like Lundell Luostarinen where you know who the two, those 2 guys are going to play together. Benji says, one more question about Knight. What to do with him? Trade or being the backup? I know you don't like the contract at all. I don't disagree with you, but he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Bob's got this season and next season. So I believe that we are doing everything we can to hold on to him so that he just takes over for Bob when Bob, I would assume, would retire, or, as Bob obviously gets a little bit too old. I think we've invested so much in Spencer Knight at this point that the plan there is to just keep him. And I don't mind that, because if he can be what we drafted him to be, then we go from the Wongo to Bobrovsky to Spencer Knight. And that will keep the cup window open. So I understand that, 4.5 to be the backup right now, but everybody else is taking the team discount, so it works. Viz says I go with the George Carlin route and not vote at all. Yeah, like my vote here in Maryland doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We vote, but it's just like, in some, you pretty much know there's like 6 states that matter. You know what I mean? In terms of like most of the states, you already know who's going to win that state, whether you go vote or not. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Yeah, Metal says Lorentz officially signed with Toronto. I saw that. I just want to know if Kyle's watching the baseball playoffs. He's been eyeballing them a little bit, but he hasn't been watching them really at night. Vincent says Bob will stay another 4 years easy. Nothing would surprise me, right? I mean, that might piss off Spencer Knight. How long is Knight's contract for? How many more years is Knight? What was it? A 3-year, $4.5 million deal? If that's the case, hold on, let me look at that. Hold on. Spencer Knight contract. Hold on. It was a 3-year, $4.5 million deal, which means Spencer Knight and Bob's expire at the same time, like Vincent is saying. Whoa. Oh, that's... No, it was 3, Trey. Hey, Dana, how you doing, Dana? Dana. Thank you, Dana. She said, I'm not going to lie, I'm sick of Spencer Knight stuff. I'm not a big Spencer Knight fan. Never have been, never will be. Well, what if he wins a cup with us? Will you be a fan of him then? No? I'm just saying. So that's interesting. Yeah, both guys' contracts run out at the same time. Yeah, there are times I would not want Bill Zito's job, and that's one of them. Trey says, sweet. So that means after next season, we can give Shesterkin $15 million. Oh my God. Yeah, well, anything can happen, right? Yeah, Penty says Knight has gotten his money way too easy. That's what's bothering you. I mean, there's half of me that agrees. But like I was talking about this before it happened, before he even got his contract. When I was doing the videos with Stu, I always used to sit up here and I'd say that what I thought was going to happen was Spencer Knight's management was going to go to the Panthers and say, we want you to pay him what he would have or could have earned if he was able to be a starter. Because before the contract, I think that, yeah, like guys is saying, Zito was afraid he's going to get offer sheeted and Spencer would have signed it. Exactly. It's not Spencer Knight's problem that he was immediately blocked by Bobrovsky. So I think what I thought was going to happen is kind of what happened. It was like, look, give us the money or somebody else will, right? Yeah, money for nothing, the jigs for free. That was an intro a couple of years ago. That's what I think happened there. So no, he's definitely not earned that, but that's what makes me say I think they're gonna, do everything they can to keep him, because I think that they already feel they've invested so much in him that they're gonna want to see that through all the way. So no disagreement, but hey, look, if something happens to Bob and we need Spencer Knight this year and for a couple of weeks, couple months, and he balls out, so to speak, and keeps us in a spot, at that point, then it's worth it, right? I just think it's $14.5 million for 2 goalies is bad cap management. What it is. That's true. But you got to understand, though, that Zito didn't give Bobrovsky that money, right? So Zito inherits that contract. So at the time that Spencer Knight got his money, Bobrovsky wasn't looking like he was going to be worth the $10 million. So when he gave Spencer Knight that money, it kind of looked like the flip over was going to happen. And remember, we'd have conversations about what would a Bobrovsky buyout look like. Could we trade him and eat half the salary? So from Zito's perspective at that point, with the way that Bobrovsky had been playing then, Pente, Talon signed Bobrovsky and drafted Spencer Knight within a week of each other. So he immediately blocked Knight with Bobrovsky. So that's been part of the thing. And, if you're Zito at that point, Bobrovsky wasn't playing well. We weren't really, remember, this is all, I think this was even before the Tkachuk deal, right? But Bobrovsky had not been playing well. And there was question marks on whether or not he was going to be the guy. So if Zito would have been responsible for losing a possible franchise goalie in Spencer Knight, and then Bobrovsky continued to play poorly, that's Zito's job, Yeah, Bob. Now that Florida plays better, it took him a little while. It took him a couple of years to get used to the defensive system, and he's also talked about how having his daughter changed things for him, because his brain used to just be hockey, and now he can kind of, okay, I'm done practicing. I relaxed. I'm going home, spending time with my family, and he has a little bit more of a balance there. Colby says, a 40-year-old Martin Brodeur took the Devils to a cup final, so why can't Bob at 42? What is he? He's only 36 now, right? 36, 37, right? Yeah. Appreciate that, Penty. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Meadow says Knight needs to keep at least a, 910, 915, and the goals against about 204. Remember, Stolarz had 925. Yeah. Yep. And hey, Vincent says not necessarily the current version of Bob is the best version of Bob. Even if he gets $10 million again, it will be pay cut, actually. Yeah, that's true. So I'm curious. The thing with Swayman, he really put the pressure on himself, right? He has just basically been out there, whether he's saying it or saying it through his agent, he basically just saying, I'm that dude. Pay me. I'm that dude. So I hope that he can handle that pressure, because, I think every man within the sound of my voice has been on the playground going, yeah, I got it. And then, oh no, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Right. So I'm not a Bruins fan, so I don't want him to be Vezina level, but I hope for his sake he doesn't get too humbled, because he's put himself out there as the guy. I'm the guy leading the way for the next generation of goalies. And it's maybe you should start 40 games first. Yeah. Jackson says Bob earned his $10 million. Bob earned his $10 million per year these last 2 seasons, talking about playoff performance. Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. He earned the $10 million with that save in Game 7, or what was it, 3 minutes left, 5 minutes left? The one that we thought when Luosterainen did the split and we thought it hit his ankle and moved out, and it was actually Bob was just like over here, like I think the puck might be here, and he just like puts his glove down and it's over the puck. How we won that game. I mean, we won the game, but there were some close chances in that game that Edmonton had that must have given their fans nightmares for weeks, especially the one that Kulikov saved too. Yeah, in game 7, Jackson. Yeah. Trey says Spencer had a 905 in Charlotte, but he also didn't have Barkov and Forsling in Charlotte. Right. I mean, he's looked good so far. One thing that Maurice brought up about Spencer Knight is he says he looks stronger. He looks having a lot more strength in his movement and whatnot. So, hey, we're going to need him. We're going to need him. We got 14 back-to-backs, right? We got 14 back-to-backs. We've already talked about that. So, I'll be curious to see what Stolarz does this year, because the guys that have been here before that have played out of their mind, it hasn't really translated, right? Drieger looked good and then not so much. Alex Lyon looked good with us and then not nearly as good. So I wonder what's going to happen with Stolarz this year and see how his play. He's not going to have the same numbers, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how far back that goes. Trey says Spencer is 23 now? Probably just got his man strength. That's exactly right. He just had his 23rd birthday. Yeah. Vincent says that series was a growing pain. I hope they've learned a lot. I still haven't had a chance to watch the Amazon thing or the ESPN thing. I gotta watch it. We just this weekend got away from me. It took a little bit longer, a little bit more emotional energy than I thought it was going to take all the dogs' graves and do what we did. So I still haven't had a chance to watch that. Benny said, didn't Levi have a 927 save percentage in the same league? Was it Levi? I thought he got hurt. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Levi got hurt. No, that's Levi's. He's the one we traded, right? Yeah. Am I correct there? Let's see. Levi's only 22. He's in the Sabres. Yeah, he's in the Sabres organization. Yeah. Data says way too much Spencer Knight talk. The kid's done nothing. He ain't pumping his tires. Well, now that's interesting perspective, though, Dana. I don't necessarily disagree completely, but he did win us one playoff game against the Lightning. He did get that game. He did get that series to game 6 where neither Bob nor Drieger could do it. I mean, I can't take that credit away from him. He was a rookie and at least gave us a chance in that series where Bob and Drieger did not. Levi's a year younger. Vincent says, I miss Stenlin already. Yeah, it's gonna be different. When I saw the fourth line, the projected fourth line, it's like that doesn't. I'm not going to worry or complain because we're the Cup champs, but when I see Giles with Greer and who else was on the fourth line? I didn't even see Gadjevich on the fourth line. The fourth line did not scream Stanley Cup champions to me. Let's just put it that way. I think we still, and we've seen Zito do that throughout the season before, right? I don't think that we have our Stanley Cup champion repeat fourth line. We might have a couple of the guys. I obviously love Gadjevich, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see who comes available during the season if Zito feels like we need to make any moves that way. Yeah, watch fourth line score the first goal. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Trey says, to use baseball as an example, a lot of times hitter's average will go up in the majors because now he has a major league protection in the order. That's yeah. Trey is right there. I've seen them bring up guys. I'm like, why are they bringing this guy up? He's hitting 220 in the minors, but then 250, 260 up above. At least back when I used to watch baseball. Yeah, Metal, right? Gadjevich had 2 goals in Quebec. Right. Vincent says Giles is a bad skater. You don't see it. I mean, he's made the roster for now. I'm surprised though too. But we got injuries, right? Well, Samoskevich is better now. But with the injury to Nosek, the point about Giles is that I'm surprised that Maurice would start with 2 rookies, but maybe he won't. Maybe it'll be Boquist, Greer, and Gadjevich. Really, to me, that would make more sense. You know what I mean? To start things off. But Giles is going to get his opportunity. He's gonna get his chance. I didn't necessarily see the bad skating, but I didn't see good skating. He looks like he's got some stick ability. You know what I mean? He definitely looks like he's got a little bit of ability that way. But they're too early. You say Mackey looked good, yeah. I mean Maurice just basically gave him the spot, right? I think that, like we said, that was his spot to lose from the beginning. So I anticipate good things from that line. If he can step in, I mean, he's not going to be Vladimir Tarasenko, right? But hopefully he plays well enough to where we don't have to replace him or upgrade come playoff time unless – see, that's the thing with like a guy like Samoskevich. He's not really a 4th line guy. So even if you were going to upgrade at some point as we got into the playoffs, who are you going to move down to the 4th line? You're not going to move Samoskevich down to the 4th line come playoff time. So he's got to show out well so that Zito doesn't have to go pluck somebody else. And the only other thing is Vincent said Maurice had no veteran options this time. No, that's true. Well, because that was the other guy that got hurt, Entwistle. I knew that there was somebody I was forgetting that had gotten injured. That was Entwistle. Yeah. So I think the 4th line is going to be a work in progress, but he's done that all the time. Remember the year before, there was that guy Smith. What was his first name that we got? That he would fight or try to fight. I forget what his name was. And then of course last year, I mean, we ended up getting Okposo towards the end there, and Lorenz hadn't hardly played all year, and now he's with the Leafs. So it'll be interesting to see who we actually end up with on that 4th line as we move in towards the playoff spot. Trey says our 4th line is going to be sick, especially when Nosek gets in there. If you're talking like Nosek, Gadjevich, and Greer, I'd be cool with that. But you got to give me another Okposo as depth, right? Giovanni Smith. Thank you, Eyes. Yeah. Where's Duclair? Where did Duclair land? I'm thinking back to that team. Where did Duclair land? Trey says, I think the final version is Greer, Nosek, and Boquist. Right, with Gadjevich as a reserve. Okay. Yeah. If Greer plays well, Adonis says the Islanders. Okay. Huh. Hopefully he never really yeah. What Adonis is just getting ready to say is what I was getting ready to say. He's been solid, but getting his speed back is what he has to work on. Yeah, I was going to say, since that Achilles, he's not had that burst. He's not had the same burst since that Achilles, and that's tough. Duclair got a 4x4. Jeez, did the Islanders have cap to burn? He's not young, but maybe he'll play better now that if that's the case. Maybe he'll play better, with that job security. You know what I mean? With 4x4 for Duclair, that's not an it's definitely not an underpay. Yeah, it's definitely not an underpay. Your family are diehard Isles fans. Yeah, I always root for Duke. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He just has not been able to stick even when he was with us, and he did well for whatever reason, right? We moved on from him, and we didn't trade him for Rodriguez, but we replaced him with Rodriguez. We even gave Rodriguez the same money that we had been giving Duclair. So I don't know about that. Hidden wants to know, do I think Boquist holds power play 1 for a full season? I hope so, because my bigger concern is that it's been Ekblad on power play 2. I know Balinskis has kind of been putzing around back there too, but my concern is Ekblad on the power play. I have concerns there. He has the offensive ability, yes, but he's not the fastest skater in the world, and his hips don't rotate all that quick. And when he loses that puck at the blue line, it's going back the other way. And so that's a concern. So I hope that Boquist can hold power play 1, because if not, if Maurice tries putting Ekblad on power play 1, let's just say it's not much of a concern, but that is one of my concerns with this team. Is I would have thought you guys know when we were talking about who's running the power play, I was just like anybody but Ekblad, and anybody but Ekblad, please, But I guess Maurice wants to give him his shot. I says the package I sent you should be arriving today. Gotcha. I forgot to leave the note in it to wait till opening night to open it. Gotcha. Okay, will do. Thank you, bud. Thank you. Pentium might be 1 year early, but Bennett contract will be interesting. And will he say, no, it's this year? Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Ekblad are all on expiring contracts. I think the thing with Bennett is going to be health. Is going to be health. Is going to be, what are we doing with Ekblad? And does Carter Verhaeghe get 40, 50, 60, or 70 goals? Because Verhaeghe is getting paid. And I think it's going to be us that pays him. I am not advocating that this is the way I want it to go. I want to reiterate, this is not the way I would want it to go. But I would not be shocked if the way that it went is we paid Verhaeghe and Ekblad and not Sam Bennett. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I'm not saying I think that should happen. I'm saying that if we are put into a position where one of those guys is not going to be on the team, I think they're going to go Barkov, Lundell, Luosterainen, and let Bennett go. That, again, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But how much is Verhaeghe going to want, right? Meadow says Swaggy gets 8, Bennett gets 5 or 6, and Ekblad gets 4 or leaves. That makes sense. But is Bennett going to take 5 or 6? What if Bennett goes off this year? Contract year, right? What if Ekblad plays a full season healthy and ends up running one of the power play units? What if he looks good, right? other teams out there will be glad to pick us apart. You know what I mean? So, and the reason why I also say that is because we don't have anybody who can step in for Ekblad. We really don't have a sniper that can step in for Verhaeghe, but we do have Anton Lundell, who just got paid, right? What did he get? 6 years at $5 million. So I think that's what it was. It was either 6 at 5 or 5 at 6. I think it was 6 year at $5 million, right? So if we played Lundell 5, how are you going to look at Sam Bennett and say anything more? You're going to have to at least give him 6.5, right? Penty says I would let Swaggy go if he asks for more than 6. Sasha has made his stats. I don't know. The thing about it with Verhaeghe is, like I've always said, it's when he scores the goals. It's third period and overtime. And so even if it's Barkov feeding him, it still takes a special clutch gene to bury that puck with 2 minutes left. And Vincent, we agree. I know he says Lundell takes up after Barkov, not Bennett. I am not saying that Lundell can do the same things that Bennett can do. Not saying that in any way, shape, or form. I hope we can keep everybody. I hope that we can keep everybody. That's the way I'd like it to go. That didn't happen this year, right? I really would have liked to have been able to keep OEL, so hopefully Belinskas can continue to develop. So Bendy says, I like Swaggy, but I think he's not worth what his stats show. Interesting. Well, I mean, what I think about is on the left side, who else is going to score those goals? That's how I look at it, right? Like there's nobody on the left side that's going to come in and I mean, we would have to go get somebody else, right? So I think we're going to be looking at 8 for him. Incorrigible, how you doing, bud? Bennett is expendable. No need to overpay for him. Verhaeghe is a keep over Bennett 7 days of the week. Although hopefully we don't have to have. Hopefully we get to do both. I see the value in both. You know what I mean? Because Bennett and Kachuk, it's like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? So I understand that. I'd like to see one of them get extended during the season. That's what I would like to see happen, Pendy says, I understand maybe a good cheaper guy and put him next to Sasha like everyone else and their stats will skyrocket. I mean, it could happen. We'll see. I'm trying to think of anybody, Prices are going up, though. That's the thing, is the cap is going up. The prices are going up, right? Verhaeghe's been making like 4.25 all this time. I mean, Reinhart got 8.5, 8.6. It's going to be, maybe you could get Verhaeghe to sign for 7.5, maybe. But again, it depends on what he does this year, Metal says, after the trade deadline, would I rather get a player like Vladdy or Oki again or restock our draft capital? We don't have a pick in next year's rounds 1, 2, or 3. No, in 1, 2, or 3. Jeez. Yeah, but we got the cup. If everybody's healthy, Metal, ask me again in the trade deadline. It depends on how everybody's looking, right? Is Sam Miskevich playing well? Is Nate Schmidt really as slow as we think he is? Right? Have we had anybody gone for injury? Right? this last year we were able to go get those guys because we didn't have any real glaring holes, right? So is Sam Miskevich ready to go and play a full, and be the dude in the playoffs? That's a question. Nate Schmidt has not been impressive. No, but everybody I've seen has been like, yeah, Schmidt looks a little bit slow. So we'll have to see how that works out. But in terms of the draft capital, I mean, on one hand, I don't necessarily disagree, but on the other hand, it's like we barely have room for the guys that we have, that like Sordev. I mean, he got hurt, right? But where would he have gone this year if he hadn't gotten hurt? You know what I mean? Vincent says this year we're going to need to add a D. I suspect that's kind of what I'm thinking. I suspect you're correct there. I like our 6. Maybe Schmidt turns out to be okay, but I think you're right. I think we'd probably be looking at adding a top 4 guy, to be honest, and then maneuvering guys around from there and give ourselves the depth, which, last year, we didn't need the depth that we had at defense. They all 6 guys, right? I don't think any of our defensemen missed a playoff game. I don't remember it. Guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any of our defensemen missing even a playoff game at all this past season. Last thing, Metal says, what do I want from Sam Miskevich this season in terms of goals, assists? Give me 25 points. Give me 25 points. Give me 10 goals and 15 assists, and don't screw anything up on defense. That's it. Give me a couple of good snipes, a couple of nice plays, a couple of empty netters, a couple of deflections. You got your 10 goals. Feed Lundell and Luosterainen a few times. And other than that, just don't be the guy that screws up that line on defense, because Lundell, Luosterainen, in terms of third line defense, is probably the best pair in the league, in my opinion, defensively. So, yeah, that's all I want out of Mackie. What I want out of Mackie Samoskevich is don't make Bill Zito replace you for the playoffs so that we can expend any capital that we need to expend elsewhere. Yeah. All right, that's going to do it. That's it. Now, the name of this show will be changing a little bit, obviously, when it will be Florida Panthers Review, because when there's games, we'll be talking about the games. Hey, Rosado. But it'll still kind of be the same format. It's just I'll putz around with the name a little bit. Other than that, we're ready to go. I got to finish the intro today, and new content either starting tomorrow or the next day. You don't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. I got the idea last night, and I figured, what the hell? Let's just do it, because I've been waiting for Ed McMahon to show up with my lottery money. It ain't happening. So I'm just going to have to knock down the damn door and make it happen myself. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support, and we shall see you mañana.